The last video I made on this channel was regrading the 2018 MLB Draft, and looking back on that one, it really wasn't the best first round as a whole, and a lot of you guys in the comments mentioned that I should regrade the 2019 MLB Draft, so that's what we are going to be doing today. And yeah, I will say that this draft has aged a lot better than 2018's. So we're going to start things off with the #1 overall pick, Adley Rutschman, the catcher out of Oregon State. Adley Rutschman was the consensus 1.1 in that draft, and he was a blue chip catching prospect that did nothing but rake at Oregon State. Adley got off to an amazing start in the 2022 season where he debuted, and he had a 5.4 WAR season. He ended up finishing runner-up in Rookie of the Year voting to Julio Rodriguez. He hit .254, had an OBP of 362, an OPS of an 806, but that ended up being one of his best years of his career so far. In 2023, he did follow that up with a 4.3 WAR season. He played 154 games, almost 700 plate appearances, and had a 128 OPS plus. He finished 9th in AL MVP voting and was an all-star. In 2024, he was a good player yet again, more so in the first half, where he was an all-star for the second straight year, a 709 OPS though with a 250 batting average, and this year in 2025, he has been struggling even more, and the bat has been going down and down since his first 2 years in the league. So for the #1 overall pick, and given who went #2, I'm going to give this selection a B+, just because we've seen in the past #1 overall picks not work out, and Adley will be one of the better ones at the end of the day. But yeah, this is definitely not an A grade, just given what Adley Rutschman has pretty much done over the last 200 games of his career, and that's pretty much just been a replacement level hitter. Because at #2, this was definitely the best player in this draft, Bobby Witt Jr., the first round pick out of Colleyville Heritage High School in Texas. And Bobby Witt got off to a little bit of a rough start in his MLB career. He did finish 4th in Rookie of the Year voting back in that 2022 season. He debuted at the same time as Adley Rutschman, and then the start of the 2023 season was also a little bit slower for Bobby Witt, but he really caught fire midway through and had a fantastic 4.3 WAR season as a 23-year-old. He stole 49 bags, he had an 813 OPS, and exploded in 2024 as one of the best players in Major League Baseball as a whole. A 9.4 B-WAR season. Any other year, he would have won MVP. It's just the same year Aaron Judge had one of his best years over there in the Bronx. Bobby Witt played 161 games in 2024, led the American League in hits with 211, a 332 batting average, also led the league, and he hit 32 home runs and stole 31 bags. This year, he's off to a great start yet again as a 25-year-old. He signed a massive long-term deal with the Kansas City Royals. This is an easy A+, and he's going to go down as one of the best players in Kansas City Royals history when it's all said and done. Next up, the Chicago White Sox took Andrew Vaughn, the first baseman out of California, Berkeley, and this is going to be a D+. Andrew Vaughn was one of the best prospects in baseball. He debuted as a 22-year-old back in the 2021 season. He even debuted before Adley Rutschman or Bobby Witt Jr. He had a 705 OPS and a 91 OPS plus for a really good White Sox team in 2021. And when the White Sox went 81-81 in 2022, that was Vaughn's breakout year. A 111 OPS plus, a 750 OPS. He had 17 home runs. He even hit 21 home runs in the 2023 season, but the defense never improved. They tried to play around with him too much, and it really messed up his development over there in Chicago. He had a sub 700 OPS in 2024, and he's off to a negative 1.6 WAR start in the 2025 season. He's not a good defender. He doesn't walk very well, and he has limited power for somebody that went 3rd overall in that draft. He's 27 years old. I have to give this a D+. #4, the Miami Marlins ended up selecting JJ Bleday, the outfielder out of Vanderbilt. He ended up getting traded down the line for AJ Puck in the 2023 season. I'm going to give this a C-. I do believe that Bleday is slightly better than Andrew Vaughn just because of what he can give you defensively. He broke out for the Oakland A's in the 2024 season. He had a 762 OPS, 20 home runs and 60 RBIs, 139 hits and 74 runs. Was a really good top of the order bat for Oakland, but this year he got off to a slow start for the A's and ended up getting sent down at one point this year as well. He was recently called back up. He's got a 649 OPS this season. It still looks like a miss of a pick, 4th overall in this class given who went after him, but Miami was able to trade him for AJ Puck. Either way, it's going to be a C minus, slightly better than Andrew Vaughn, but definitely worse than the first 2 picks. The 5th overall selection was the Detroit Tigers taking a high school outfielder by the name of Riley Greene. I'm going to give this selection a B+. I do think Riley Greene has been a very similar player to Adley Rutschman so far, but it's kind of like their careers have been flipped. Adley got off to a great start, has been cooling off as of late, and Riley Greene has been playing some of his best baseball over the last 2.5 seasons. He really broke out in 2024 for the Detroit Tigers, a 5.4 win season, was an all-star, an 827 OPS, and hit 24 home runs. This year, he's off to a great start as well, an 831 OPS, a 500 slugging, 13 home runs already. He does strike out a ton, so if he can bring that down, he could end up becoming one of the best outfielders in the MLB one day, but Detroit definitely made a very good selection here, taking the left-hander out of high school, given that they could have definitely whiffed on this pick, given what they've done in previous drafts. So yeah, it's getting a B+. At number 6, the San Diego Padres ended up taking a shortstop out of Blessed Trinity Catholic High School in Georgia by the name of CJ Abrams. CJ Abrams was a top prospect in Major League Baseball. He ended up debuting with the San Diego Padres in the 2022 season, but it wasn't for long. After 46 games, Abrams ended up being included in one of the biggest baseball trades in the history of the sport when he was sent with a bunch of other prospects to the Washington Nationals in exchange for Juan Soto. CJ Abrams ended up finishing off that 2022 season with a 604 OPS and a 246 batting average. In 2023, Abrams was slightly better as a 22-year-old, a 3.5 WAR season, played 151 games, a 712 OPS, and ended up stealing 47 bags. In 2024 was a true breakout year for CJ Abrams. He was an all-star, 747 OPS, 110 OPS plus. He ended up stealing 31 bags and hit 20 homers, and he's off to a great start yet again here in 2025. As long as he isn't staying up late at the casino, he could be one of the best shortstops in the game. He's on pace to have over 4.5 WAR this season and could end up with his first above 800 OPS year of his career. So I'm going to give this pick a B+, because not only were the Padres able to use him and his prospect status to go out and get Juan Soto, he's been a productive player for the Washington Nationals so far. We have our first pitcher that we're going to mention. He was the 7th overall pick out of TCU by the Cincinnati Reds, and that is Nick Lodolo. Nick Lodolo was one of the best left-handed pitching prospects in the game at one point. He debuted in April of 2022, and he finished his rookie season on an encouraging note, over 100 innings pitched. He started 19 games and had a 3.66 ERA, but in 2023, injuries got the best of him. He only appeared in 7 games. In 2024, he had a 4.76 ERA and looks somewhat healthy here at the start of 2025 and is looking more and more like he did in his rookie season. He's pitched around 70 innings so far this year to a 3.1 ERA. Now, pitchers can be so volatile, and if Lodolo can look like this throughout the rest of his career, this will get a better grade, but for now, I'm giving him a B just because I feel like it could be a lot better. It could be a lot worse, but all in all, this is a solid pick here by the Cincinnati Reds. At number 8, the Texas Rangers also took a collegiate player out of the state of Texas like the Cincinnati Reds, but this player was a Texas Tech Red Raider. They took Josh Jung, the 3rd baseman. Now, I'm going to give this a C+. Josh Jung has been a fine enough bat to take inside the top 10. Like I've said it so many times, there could be a lot worse draft picks you could end up taking here than somebody like the caliber of Josh Jung. He broke out in 2023 and looked like one of the best young hitters in the game, but man, injuries have really derailed Josh Jung's career so far. The 27-year-old has missed so much playing time over the first 4 years of his career. He's hitting for average so far, but he doesn't walk a ton. The power hasn't been there since 2023, so I'm going to be a little bit conservative with this grading, and I'm going to give it a C+. The Atlanta Braves had the 9th overall pick after not signing Carter Stewart in the 2018 draft out of high school, so they took Shea Langeliers, the catcher out of Baylor, and Langeliers never debuted with the Atlanta Braves. He ended up being included in the Matt Olson trade in the offseason of 2022. And I'm going to give this pick a B-. I do think Langeliers has been a fine enough top 10 pick. Over the last 2 years, he has showcased more power. He finished the 2024 season with 29 home runs. He got off to a good start this year. He's around 10 home runs right now, and there's a good chance he's going to hit over 20 home runs yet again. He can play a fine catching position. He's not one of the best defensive catchers in the game, but he could be a lot worse of a top 10 pick here. So I'm going to give this pick a B- given who went after him. And that is going to be my first F. The San Francisco Giants with the 10th overall pick selected Hunter Bishop, a college outfielder out of Arizona State, and Hunter Bishop has yet to play in the major league so far, and he is 26 years old. He has spent some time in Eugene, San Jose, Scottsdale, in the Arizona Far League. He spent time in AA with Richmond, AAA with Sacramento, but he's yet to crack the majors. He's never had an OPS above an 800 in minor league baseball, and the clock is ticking on him ever being a consistent big leaguer in his career. And given that this draft was 6 years ago and the college selection has not made it to the majors with the 10th overall pick, I have to give it an F. Now, this is a tough one to grade. The 11th overall pick was a pitcher out of West Virginia by the Toronto Blue Jays by the name of Alec Manoah. Alec Manoah was one of the best young pitchers in the game and had one of the weirdest fall-offs I've ever seen in the modern MLB. He finished 8th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2021, 111 innings, a 3.22 ERA, and then he was one of the best pitchers in Major League Baseball in 2022, a 6 pitching WAR season, a 2.24 ERA, and over 30 starts, 196 innings, and finished 3rd in Cy Young voting. He just finished behind guys like Justin Verlander and Dylan Cease. He was a true bona fide ace for the Blue Jays that season. But in 2023, a 5.87 ERA, and then got sent down to the minors. In 2024, he only appeared in 5 games and is yet to appear in a game here in 2025 because he is on the 60-day IL. So given what he did in 2022, I can't give this an F. I'm going to bump it up to a D right now just based off that year, but it is not looking very encouraging for Manoah being a long-term starting pitcher in the Blue Jays system. The New York Mets have the 12th overall pick, and they took a high school third baseman out of Lake Travis High School in Texas by the name of Brett Baty. Brett Baty was one of the best prospects in minor league baseball and was one of the Mets' top prospects for a long time. He actually homered in his first career game back in the 22 season, but Brett Baty has never really put it together at the major league level. He absolutely rakes in the minor leagues, but it does feel like he is a quadruple A player right now. He has shown a little bit more flashes here in the 2025 season. I'm going to give this a C- for Baty because it is heading in the right direction, but I do feel like he could be one of those players when it's all said and done that's going to be a lot better on a different team that just needs a change of scenery. He's 25 years old though since he was drafted out of high school. The Minnesota Twins ended up taking Keoni Cavaco, the third baseman out of Eastlake High School in California with the 13th overall pick. I also have to give this an F. He is still just 24 years old, so you never know what can happen, but he hasn't played at all here in 2025. He last appeared in the Midwest League in High A for the Twins in 2024 in Cedar Rapids, where he had a 529 OPS and a 144 batting average. Long ways to go to making the majors, and for a first round pick, this has to be an F. The Philadelphia Phillies ended up taking Bryson Stott, the shortstop out of UNLV with the 14th overall pick. I'm going to give this selection a B. Now, I know that Bryson Stott doesn't hit for a ton of power, sometimes can struggle getting on base, but when you're looking at some of these other guys that went around him or ahead of him, like Brett Baty, Hunter Bishop, and Keoni Cavaco, this pick looks a lot better. He had 31 stolen bases for the Phillies in 2023 and 32 stolen bases for them in 2024. Both those years, he had over 2 WAR and has been a fairly serviceable second baseman. It's not the best pick in the world. It's not the worst pick in the world, but I do think he's been significantly better than Brett Baty so far, and I gave him a C-. And Stott has also just been healthy as well. 151 games in 2023, 148 games in 2024, and has been healthy here in 2025. Like the Philadelphia Phillies, the LA Angels 1 pick later took a shortstop out of NC State, Will Wilson. I got to give this pick also an F. Wilson, he didn't make it to the majors with the LA Angels, but did appear here in 2025 for the Cleveland Guardians. He was drafted by the Cleveland Guardians in the 2024 Rule 5 draft. This year, he's appeared in 20 games, a 593 OPS. Maybe he's going to be a rotational middle infielder in his career, but for a first round pick, it's got to be an F given who went 1 pick later. And this is one of the few guys in this draft that can rival Bobby Witt as the best player from the 2019 class. The Arizona Diamondbacks pick at number 16, an outfielder out of Lakeside School in Washington, and that is going to be Corbin Carroll. Yeah, Corbin Carroll, and this pick here at 16 is an easy A+. He debuted in the 2022 season for the Diamondbacks, where he had an 830 OPS in 32 games and had his full rookie eligibility in 2023, where he won the Rookie of the Year award. He led the MLB in triples. He had a 285 batting average, an 868 OPS, and was a big reason why the Arizona Diamondbacks were able to make it to the World Series that season. In 2024, it did feel like a down year for Corbin Carroll as his swing stance changed up throughout the year, but he was able to put it together late in the year, and he's been off to a red hot start here in 2025, back to what we thought he could be in 2023, a 914 OPS, a 578 slugging, 6 triples already. He already has 18 home runs in 2025. He's definitely going to get his career high this season, and he did steal 54 bags back in 2023. Definitely the definition of an A+. One pick after Corbin Carroll, the Washington Nationals took Jackson Rutledge, a pitcher out of a Texas community school right outside Houston, Texas, and this pick is going to be a D+. Jackson Rutledge debuted in 2023 for the Washington Nationals, where in 4 games he had a 6.75 ERA. He appeared in 3 games in 2024, and this year has been a fine reliever for the Washington Nationals, a 4.81 ERA in 19 games and 24 innings. Not a perfect player at all, but if you're getting an average reliever, somebody at 6'8" in the first round, it's a D+, better than an F at least. At 18, the Pittsburgh Pirates ended up taking a pitcher out of Cary Grove High School in Illinois, Quinn Priester. Quinn Priester is now on his 3rd team here in 2025. It was a little bit of a shocking trade last offseason when he was traded straight up basically for Nick York, and then the Red Sox in April traded him to the Milwaukee Brewers, a team desperate of some pitching help, and Priester has looked the best he has in his career so far. He started 7 games for the Brewers in 2025, and he's got a 4.09 ERA, a 4.71 FIP, and he's allowed 23 earned runs so far. And if Priester can look like a solid number 4 or number 5, it's not the best for a first round pick, but it could be a lot worse than that, so he's going to get a C for this selection. One pick after Quinn Priester, the Pittsburgh Pirates division rival, the St. Louis Cardinals, selected a pitcher out of Kentucky by the name of Zack Thompson. I'm going to give this a D+. Like Jackson Rutledge, Thompson has pretty much been converted into a reliever for the most part. He can be a spot starter at times, but he did have a productive year out of the pen as a rookie in 2022 and in 2023, and I'm going to give this selection a C-. It does look like he's going to be better than Rutledge throughout his career, but it does hurt that you didn't get a starter, or at least starter value, with Thompson here in the first round, and he's currently injured on the 60-day IL. And what makes these picks here at number 17, 18, and 19, who all took pitchers, given what the Seattle Mariners took at number 20, it was a starting pitcher out of Elon, George Kirby. George Kirby was banged up to start off this year, but he's one of the best young pitchers in the league. He was lights out to start off his career in 2022, 2023, and 2024. He finished 6th in Rookie of the Year voting in 2022 and was an All-Star in 2023. He doesn't walk anybody. He allowed 22 walks as a rookie, 19 walks in 2023, and 23 walks last year in 191 innings. He has one of the best commands in all of Major League Baseball. This year, it's been off to a little bit of a rough start in his first 3 games off the IL. I'm not worried at all. Kirby's one of the best pitchers in the game, and he's going to be one of the few A+s here. And one pick after George Kirby, the Atlanta Braves, with their second pick here in the first round, took Braden Shewmake, a shortstop out of Texas A&M. This is going to get an F. Shewmake played 2 games for the Atlanta Braves in 2023, some meaningless at-bats, and then ended up being let go by the Atlanta Braves in the 2023 offseason when he was traded along with a bunch of others to the White Sox for Aaron Bummer. And then in January of 2025, the White Sox waived him. He was picked up by Kansas City. And then in February, he was waived by the Royals and picked up by the New York Yankees. He hasn't played at all here in 2025, so this pick has to be an F. And then another F is going to be Greg Jones, who was selected by a smart organization of the Tampa Bay Rays. The shortstop out of UNC Wilmington has not done much in the majors so far. He was traded for Joe Rock in 2024, a minor league starting pitcher, and then the Rockies waived him in March of 2025. He signed as a free agent with the Astros in May of this year, but he's just not going to be much of a major league hitter in his career, so this is also going to be an F. Sandwiched into a bunch of Fs, we have Michael Toglia, who was the first baseman selected 23rd overall out of UCLA by the Colorado Rockies. This is going to get a C-. Not the worst pick here in the first round, but Toglia is off to a rough start here in 2025 after a breakout 2024. He's got 81 strikeouts already. He's batting below the Mendoza line after hitting 25 home runs last year and 55 RBIs overall. This is going to get a C- based off the high that he had in 2024, but if he can't go back to anything close to that, this is going to drop from a C- into the Ds very soon. And then at 24, he was one of my favorite prospects in the game. The Cleveland Indians at the time selected Daniel Espino, the pitcher out of Georgia Academy, and Espino, because of injuries, has not pitched since the 2022 season. He was up there with Joenski Noel and George Valera as the next wave of Guardians young players. And yeah, in 2022 was his last time pitching. He was a 21-year-old. He had a 2.45 ERA in 18 innings in Akron and AA, and injuries have pretty much derailed his career, so I have to give it an F. Cody Hosey was selected one pick after Espino at number 25 by the LA Dodgers, the third baseman out of Tulane. This is also going to be an F. Hosey has not made it to the majors yet. He is 27 years old, and he's currently playing in Oklahoma City still. He did have a good year in 2024 in Oklahoma City, where he had an 835 OPS. He's off to a rough start this year, but if anything, would just be a utility bat that's going to come off the bench if he ever debuts, which is very tough to do when you're playing for the Dodgers. At 26, the Arizona Diamondbacks received another pick in this first round, a comp pick for failing to sign Matt McLean in the 2018 draft. They definitely wish they had that back, and they selected Blake Walston, a high school pitcher out of New Hanover High School in North Carolina. And this is going to be an F, as Walston has only appeared in 7 games in the majors, 18 innings, and had a 4.42 ERA in the 2024 season. And he's currently on the 60-day IL in the minor leagues. He's still just 23 years old, so I have a lot more hope for him than some of these other Fs that we talked about here. The Cubs selected Ryan Jensen, a pitcher out of Fresno State, with the 27th overall pick. I also have to give this an F as well. He's somebody that has not debuted in the majors at all, and he was traded by the Chicago Cubs to the Minnesota Twins. And after being drafted by the Cubs in the first round, as he climbed the minor league ladder, he posted some mediocre results, largely due to control issues. The Cubs nonetheless added him to their 40-man roster back in November of 2022 to keep him out of the Rule 5 draft. He struggled again in 2023, which put him into the waiver carousel between August and current day. He's been on a plethora of teams, and he has yet to debut so far as a 27-year-old. Like I said, we're going to have a lot of Fs here in the first round. The Milwaukee Brewers, with the 28th overall pick, selected Ethan Small, a pitcher out of Mississippi State. Ethan Small has debuted. He debuted back in 22 as a 25-year-old and in 23, but he has not been good. A career 8.71 ERA in 10 innings pitched. He's currently banged up here in the 2025 season as a 28-year-old and is currently on the San Francisco Giants. At number 29, the Oakland A's selected a shortstop out of Clemson, Logan Davidson. I also have to give this an F as well, as Logan Davidson has debuted for the first time here in 2025, and he has not been off to a good start. In 19 plate appearances, a 528 OPS. He's already 27 years old, and like some of these other guys like Braden Shewmake, Cody Hosey, or Greg Jones, it's just going to be a utility bat that is going to be up and down from the minors one day if they reach their peak. So we had a lot of bad picks in a row, but we're going to get back to a good pick here. The Yankees at number 30 selected a shortstop out of Delberton High School in New Jersey, Anthony Volpe. This is going to be a B+. I think this is one of the more value picks here in the first round, and Volpe's off to a good start here in 2025. He's got a 760 OPS, a 241 batting average. He's got 7 home runs already, and in 23 and 24, he had over 3 WAR seasons. He was a top prospect at one point. He played. The Dodgers had another first rounder in this draft after failing to sign JT Ginn in the 2018 draft, so they selected Michael Busch, a second baseman out of North Carolina. Busch was pretty much handicapped in the minors. The Dodgers would never call him up, so they finally traded him away in January of 2024 with Yency Almonte for Jackson Ferris and Zaire Hope, who's now pretty much a consensus top 10 prospect, but Michael Busch has broken out this year. Michael Busch was a very productive hitter last year for the Chicago Cubs. He had a 775 OPS, a 118 OPS plus, 21 home runs, 65 RBIs, and a 2.8 WAR season. Busch is off to a hot start again this year, and is pretty much going to shatter those numbers he had last year. An 896 OPS, a 376 OBP, a 276 batting average, 9 home runs, 36 RBIs, and a 1.8 WAR already. This is also going to be a B+ like Volpe, as the Dodgers were able to get good enough value for Michael Busch. He was never going to be a consistent bat in their everyday lineup over there, and has been a very nice trade so far for the Cubs. They just better hope that Zaire Hope doesn't live up to his potential. And then the last pick here in the first round was made by the Houston Astros, number 32 overall, after having 2 comp picks, and that is going to be Corey Lee, the catcher out of Cal, a teammate at Cal with Andrew Vaughn, so the second Bear that was selected here in the first round, but I do have to give this an F. Lee has been around more than some of the other Fs that we have talked about, but he has not been able to hit at the major league level. He was somewhat serviceable in 2024 for the White Sox, but not really. It was one of the worst teams of all time, and he did have 394 plate appearances for that team, and here in 2025, he's got a 616 OPS, but it doesn't really matter because Edgar Cuero and Kyle Teal are a lot more important pieces in Chicago at the backstop position. So that's going to be for me. I hope you guys did enjoy my 2019 MLB regrade. If you did enjoy, I'd appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button if you were not already for more videos throughout the MLB season. Let me know in the comments what you guys think and maybe what draft we should do next. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.